Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your Tuesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, checking in live from East Memphis with my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, we got a jam-packed show today, so I'm going to ask you briefly, how are you?
Good.
Briefly. So,
Great.
Real quick shout out. We do have a real quick shout out. Today's show is dedicated to the great Wayno in the comments. He's probably in bed right now, but today is him and his wife's anniversary. And if any day is worth celebrating Wayno, it is his anniversary. Good on you, mate. Happy anniversary to you and your bride. I don't know how she's put up with you this long, but I am happy that she has.
Listen, Wayno's pretty silly, but he's a good dude. So she may be the lucky one in this one. So are we sure that it's today and not tomorrow?
I'm not real sure because he posted it this morning, and I'm not sure how, like if it was yesterday, today, tomorrow time. He's in the future. I don't know. Happy anniversary, 19 years, whenever it was, Wayno. Good on you for you and your bride for definitely like leveling up, I guess.
So, happy anniversary, Wayno. Everybody, if you are here with us live or if you are watching it back later, if you are on YouTube, please do us a favor and hit the like button, please. That helps us boost into another stratosphere, and we want people to be able to see this. And so we work really hard for this. We're proud of it. We love you guys. Help us out. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. That will let you know when we're live, so you don't have to even set it on your appointment book or your digital calendars. We'll just let you know. So do that for us. We'd appreciate it.
It'll let us know that you know that we know that you know that we're live, something like that. Yeah. So happy anniversary, Wayno. On Tuesdays, we do start our show with a little bit of buffoonery. We got a brief one today, as we do have a lot of college football and basketball to get to. But I'm hungry, Drew, so we're going to talk about what we've been eating.
That's right. It's our Tasting Tuesdays. This is our new segment going into week numero trace of our Tasting Tuesday for your Tuesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. Lots of twos on your Tuesday, and we're going to talk about some food that we've eaten. Rusty, anything that you want to talk about, give some recommendations for?
Yeah, shout out, no free shout outs. We don't give out free shout outs on this show.
Sounds like you are.
There is a certain brand that makes an ice cream maker that allows you to make healthy ice cream at home. I will reveal the name of the brand when they pay me to do so. But Maggie has found this account on Instagram where you can make healthy ice creams where you can still get an ice cream fix, but it's not a bazillion calories. And so we had chocolate last night, and she makes it with a 42 gram, they're either 26 or 42 gram of protein shake that you mix with some like protein milk and a few other little things that keep the calories very low, the protein very high, so you can still have a healthy-ish ice cream at home. So we had chocolate last night. I've talked about it before on the show. Pineapple is the best. She makes a blueberry crumble that's just, oh my God, it's so good. Lemon is basically, the lemon is only like 100 calories for 20-something grams of protein. It's a great ratio. Check out this product. I'll let you know all fair, but live on air, it's going unnamed until they pay me to talk about it. But it makes the best homemade ice cream. Yeah.
For me, it's less about food. We had Happy Meals yesterday, and it's not because of the food. Listen, I've recently been convicted to start dieting, and I have started my way down this road. But I had an aunt that came in. My aunt lives in East Tennessee in the Maryville area. Came in and just surprised us. Came in, showed up at the house when the kids got out of school yesterday, and we just got to hang out with her. And so dinner last night was just her taking all the kids to go get Happy Meals, and we went to the park. So I'm not recommending McDonald's to anybody. You guys know the deal. Breakfast is elite. Coffee's really good. Outside of that, you probably just stay away. But if you have the opportunity to have it with family at a park where your kids can run and not scream inside the house, thumbs up.
Listen, we recommend family time around here above all. And what better place or time for family time than when you break bread? And so absolutely good call in, no matter what the food is. Yes, we're proponents of trying to eat healthy. I just talked about some protein ice cream, way to get your ice cream fixed at a healthier tick. But if you can also, it helps lessen the caloric impact if you share said food with good family. I'll say that.
Right. Yeah. Free food calories don't count. And
Absolutely.
so the kids had a calorie-free dinner last night.
Absolutely. And hey, Jalen in the comment knows what's up. Bluff City Media on the rise. If you were here yesterday, we had an awesome time kind of live streaming the media day as is rolling out. We have some thoughts, changing the order up on Drew a little bit. We were going to talk about NBA last. We're going to talk about NBA next on the other side of this commercial break. And then we'll finish with our college football roundup from the weekend. Y'all stay tuned after the commercial where we talk NBA.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
I just want to say off top, like, every time a win like that happens at that place, it just feels like this momentous occasion for the city.
Yeah.
And like with most universities, it's not like that. If Wisconsin gets a big signature win, it's not like, oh, what a day for Madison. Alabama wins, what a day for Tuscaloosa. But like the way that our university is set up and the fan base is set up, it always feels just like this massive occasion for Memphis. It just felt like a celebration of Memphis like we haven't seen in a long time in that stadium.
It does. You do feel like you're jinxing it, and you don't want to speak too early, and it's 4 games into the season, so we can't get carried away. But any season that turns out to be, one for the record books or ends up being special and one that people talk about forever, much like that 2019 season, like games like this have to happen for it to be that season.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the $2 Sports Show. It's Tuesday, the second day of the week, and we did a long, almost an hour and a half episode live streaming and pulling clips from the interwebs of yesterday's Grizzlies Media Day. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't a lot of breaking news, but I'm telling you, it is just, Media Day is fun. You get to talk to every single player. You get to talk to the head coach, the GM, and you get a baseline of the whole season. So we did all that with you yesterday. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, feel free to watch it after this episode is over.
Absolutely. Not before, but after. And I guess we will start here. I do want to talk about this. King Meeks brings up something great in the comments, and then, Jalen, we're going to get to your comment here in a few minutes. Have you seen the quote from Adam Silver about trying to get international teams from like the Euro League and Eurobasket involved in the NBA Cup? Have you seen that?
No. Well, I feel like I saw somebody talking about it, but I didn't see I saw a comment about it without seeing the actual statement from Adam Silver. If you can recap it for me, I'll pull it up on X if you want me to, but
that's what I'm on X. I'm looking for the exact quote because it's something that could see teams from other continents playing United States franchises in the regular season or the postseason for the NBA. Let's see. I'll pull it up. But basically, like, Adam Silver is doing everything to fix the NBA except actually trying to make the NBA a watchable commodity for people when it's a highlight league, and he's not trying to make it easy for the average fan to be able to find it. And here it is. So Adam Silver says, we have something called the NBA Cup.
If you want me to pull it up.
I'm just going to read it
got it.
off right here. You could imagine teams from Europe, potentially Africa, competing in the tournament. You could possibly see teams coming into our playoffs, top seeds from other leagues. The European League could pull existing successful clubs to build its membership. Silver said this summer he reportedly met with Real Madrid about potentially joining the league, and the interest may be mutual given the club's foray into American sports with its agreement to host an NBA game or NFL game this season. So, like, what are we doing? Like, you want to get other teams to compete in the NBA Cup, taking away the opportunity for local teams to be able to play in that, taking away home games from local teams. You already taken away one of mine. I got a half season pass, and they took away one of the games, and they gave me a preseason game. I do get to go on October the 11th for the Hawks game. But he's doing everything he can to just ruin the NBA product and firmly supplant Rob Manfred as the worst commissioner in all of sports.
Well, listen, the NBA is the most global sports brand there is outside of like FIFA, like soccer, and even then, they are divided into many different groups. You know, whether it's Bundesliga or La Liga or the Premier League, like all those European, you've got your own
Ligas.
NBA as an American product is the most global brand that we have. You see the NFL trying to get into going and playing games in Europe and South America and Central America and the whole thing. And I get on a base level, I think I understand that. I don't like it because I'm so pro the home fan that I don't want to take games away from home fans. But I get that. That is expanding your market or your visibility, expanding your brand, allowing people from other countries to pay for League Pass, to buy merch. I get that. I don't understand incorporating, making NBA like a, what is it? Euro Cup. Euro Cup in soccer or even in basketball for that matter. It's where all the different leagues play each other and they have a battle for Europe or whatever.
Cool.
I don't understand bringing European teams to play against American teams because the NBA is such, they draw the most elite players from all parts of the earth. I don't really care to see us open up and invest and bring to the America European teams to play American teams because then you're incentivizing European players to stay in Europe.
I mean, that's
in my opinion.
Brother, like you said, the elite players already play in the NBA. Like, there is nothing less appealing than an NBA Cup game on a Tuesday night where we watch Oklahoma City or the Grizzlies or even like the Jazz or some of these other teams lap a Euro team because it won't be competitive because the best players are in the NBA. Like you can bring Fenerbahce, who's a great team that's got Tarek Biberovic, and they win league championships all the time. If they go play in Madison Square Garden, they're going to get boat raced by the Knicks. And that's not appealing.
This is never
like if you're going to do it, put a franchise over there that they can bring in those players that may want to go play over there and make it more competitive. There are, like Jalen says here in the comments, there are opportunities for more NBA franchises in the United States where the product is already located. Why don't we get some of those going instead of trying to make a team in Mexico City or Brazil or London? To me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I get your point to more people buying the League Pass overseas.
Right, but American teams, like,
right,
yeah, I get that, but there's nothing that the competitive nature of it and the shoehorning in, like, you could take the Adriatic League, which I think a lot of people think is the second best professional basketball league right now, and you can bring them over and play the, preseason games against that. I mean, fine, whatever. It's preseason. I don't care. That'd actually be kind of fun to see.
Preseason's fine.
But
all about
but
preseason.
let's not shoehorn into regular season. You already have a problem with buy-in when it comes to the in-season cup. The last thing you need to do is bring in Fibonacci or what's the Real Madrid or any of these teams over here and inject them into this product that you're pretty got split opinions on. Like, that'll just totally take the people that are buying in and let them buy in less. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just an American purist. I've never pretended to be anything other than that. And like, I care about time slots. I don't want to watch games at midnight. There's just so many weird logistical things, and it's the root cause of it is all just international domination. When you've got some real markets here in the U.S., like I don't remember who said it. I think it was maybe Jared or Jalen. Oh, Jalen said you don't want to expand into America but go into Europe. You've got so many markets like Seattle and Vegas and just go down the list. You could go so many different markets. You could expand in the U.S. to 60 teams and have it make more sense to me than having an Adriatic team that you have to fly out there and spend a whole week out there playing 2 to 3 games because the NBA schedule is too tight of a window to get back and forth on a regular basis.
And if we're literally talking about postseason, which is what the quote is, coming, you could possibly see teams coming into our playoffs, top seeds from other leagues. Drew, imagine with me, you're Oklahoma City, you're the number 1 seed, right? We're college football junkies. That's what we do, right? So you got Ohio State as the number 1 team in the country right now, right? Let's say they finished number 1, and in a 16-team playoff that we ultimately are going to expand to, let's go ahead and put Kennesaw State in there for them to play. Let's go ahead and put in Ferris State in there for them to play as the first seed because we're going to bring them over from Division 2 because we're trying to expand our brand here. Ohio State's going to beat them 175-0 in Columbus.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that happens anyways. But
I mean, it does, but I'm talking about in postseason play.
Yeah.
Like it happens in the regular season. And again, if they want to do this in preseason, have fun, go nuts. But you're going to bring them into the playoffs, and that's going to take away a team that earned it from the NBA to be there. For Oklahoma City to go 4-0 as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference against Fenerbahce, and each game is 175-30. Like it's going to be like it'll be like the opening round of like if you watch like early women's college basketball when South Carolina beat South Carolina State 106-12. That's what it'll be in the NBA playoffs.
Well, the only thing that I could see, like if Adam Silver came to me and said, figure out a way we can incorporate these European champions into postseason play. This is what I would say. All right now, you've got 16 of the 30 teams that make the playoffs. You've got 20 of the 30 teams that make the play-in or the playoffs.
Playoffs, yeah.
The last 10 teams, you bring over your guys best of 5 or whatever, or best of 3 or single game, whatever, and then you'll have Charlotte versus Real Madrid, and you will have what's another dumpster fire? Sacramento versus
Turkish team or
Greek,
whatever,
Greece,
team, Israeli team, whatever.
That's the only thing. He's obviously not, and we're taking it like that, and you're taking it like that. There's obviously no way in the world that Adam Silver inserts a European team into the NBA playoffs in place of an existing stateside American team. It's just not going to happen.
I'm just reading the quote.
I agree.
The literal quote is,
I agree, and that's why
teams coming into our playoffs, top seeds from other leagues. That's this quote.
That would in what the only way to do that is for them to play an NBA schedule and earn it. And that's where I have a problem is like just logistically, this isn't the NFL where you play on Sundays and you can fly over there on Tuesday and stay till Wednesday and play a game in the middle. Like that's not how this works. I don't know how you do it logistically.
This is my way of fixing it. If you want to do it that way, you take the top seeds from the NBA, you take the top seeds from overseas, you play the bottom seeds of the NBA, the worst teams, the Bulls, the Jazz, the Wizards, the Hornets, and the winner of that series gets NBA membership. And then if Charlotte loses to Fenerbahce, Charlotte has to go play in the Euro League, and Fenerbahce is now the team in the NBA. Regulation would be perfect for that.
You're playing for pink slips. If Real Madrid beats Charlotte, they are the new Charlotte Hornets, and Charlotte has to go to Europe.
That's what I'm saying. Like Charlotte has to go play the Fenerbahce schedule, and Fenerbahce comes over here and plays Charlotte's schedule next year, an 82-game NBA season for relegation, because that's the only way that you can fix that. But enough about Adam Silver. He's back in Arkham Asylum doing Arkham Asylum things. Here on the 2 Buck Sports Show, we are talking NBA Media Day. We're talking NBA championship odds over on FanDuel right now. These are the latest NBA title odds as of this morning. No real movement after NBA Media Day, Drew. You still got the Thunder as the odds-on favorite at plus 210. Cavs at plus 700. The Grizz are plus 12,500. On this screen for me, and I'll ask you yours, if I was going to put money on somebody that's not the Thunder and not the Grizzlies, that Nuggets at plus 800 is a very tasty line because I wish it was a little bit bigger. Sure, maybe the Rockets at plus 1,600 might be more appealing, but that Nuggets team got a lot better. Jokic makes players around him way better. You got a former player in Bruce Brown coming back. You've got Cam Johnson coming to that Nuggets team. That plus 800 is a tasty line for somebody that's got higher odds to win a title next year.
Yeah, I don't mind those as well either. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. You got rid of Michael Porter Jr., so that's an upgrade. You bring in Cam Johnson. I like that. I would even go with longer odds. I'd go Knicks, and that's just basically because the East is so
bad.
Injury hampered by everybody's Achilles tendon rupturing in the playoffs last year. The East is wide open. I think the Knicks and Cavs are going to be in a dead heat for the top spot, and you may have an up-and-comer like Detroit or Orlando, but I would take Brunson to finally kind of break through. He is a top 10 player in the NBA. ESPN said so, and I actually agree with him. And so I would put the Knicks. Like, again, I want to make money, and so the longer odds, I would take that. I see a path there for the Knicks.
I do. I don't know that Jalen Brunson's the top 10 in the league. The more I've thought about that list, but we're in the summer. You got to write what you got to write. I don't know. I mean, it's fine, I guess. Somebody's got to be it. But Jalen here talks about the Grizzlies, and this is where I kind of want to camp out for the rest of this segment. We talked about Media Day in depth yesterday while it was happening. Nothing else really happened after we went off air. We kind of covered all the major hit points. But call me crazy, but I'm kind of in the camp with Jalen here. I'm hella excited about this season. I think we can really surprise a lot of people this year. That guard wing lineup looks crazy, and I kind of agree with him, Drew. We've had Media Day. We've got the hype. We've got the excitement. John's got the number one shoe in the world. Everybody's getting healthy. Jaren is teasing us that he might be back for week 1 in 4 weeks. What do you need to see out of training camp in order to have a bit more excitement or catch some of that buzz heading? Not saying that you don't have it, but what do you need to see in training camp to kind of solidify some of the buzz for the Grizzlies heading into the regular season?
No more injuries. Training camp has been Jaren, and knock on wood, you find something around you right now. First day of training camp last year, Jaren hurt something in his leg. He only missed 2 games, but just to show you that it is possible to hurt yourself at training camp, and if it can happen, it will happen to the Grizzlies. So I need help.
We're not speaking that out loud. We're not.
I'm not a voodoo. I don't practice black magic. I'm just reporting facts. That does happen. And so I need help. Listen, everybody, Jalen, you're right where it says I believe that the Grizzlies could sneak up on a lot of people this year. The reason why I think that is because every year, everybody's always down on the Grizzlies. You never get any sort. No, the media never reflects the expectations that the fan base does. And for the first, one of the only times that I can remember, the fan base is typically more right than the media because the fan base is pretty rooted in fact, like from what I see anyways. Like the Grizzlies in 4 out of the last 5 seasons, right, have been a number 2 seed at some point late in the season. You've been regular season good, but you have been good. So there's no reason to think that it couldn't be the case again this year.
Agreed. For me, hearing John Morant say that his personal goal is to play 82 games was a great start yesterday. I absolutely love that. Love the GG maturity that we saw yesterday, talking about how Coach Tomas Isolo is going to coach him harder than he coaches anybody else to try and get some of that scary P word, as Wayno likes to say, potential out of GG, because it's certainly there. We just got to get it out of and get that maturity there. I also agree with Jared here. I want to see Jock back up the top. Jock came in yesterday hot, saying that he feels like it's a perfect fit for him here in Memphis, that he was playing in Europe at the same time that Tomas Isolo was coaching over there, and he feels like the system was made for him, almost like it was a match made in heaven. And his goal as a center, he said, was to make point guards like Ja better. And if we can make that happen, then that's going to be a massive win for us heading into the regular season. I agree. There's a lot of hype coming around Jock, as Jared says here. I need to see him solidify himself as that backup big, because him and Edie could be a formidable 1-2 punch where Jock is a bit more athletic. To your gripes about Edie, Drew, Edey's a bit more size, but they're both rim protecting centers who can impact winning basketball on both ends of the floor. And I think Ja could be a great counterpunch to Edey's starting punch and make a great formidable front court. And then Edward agrees with you here that health, and he wants to see the bench solidified, just like with what I was talking about with Jock Landale.
Yeah, and I think the bench solidified starts with I'm so bad at remembering names.
Scotty, Cedric,
No,
Jalen,
no.
PG.
The guy from the Cavs
Ty Jerome.
the Great White Hope. I think it
Jerome.
starts with him because you know who the first guy off the bench is going to be.
Exactly.
And so that's not going to change. You know, you saw a lot of inconsistency with substitution patterns and whatnot. It's because you were always kind of finding who is going to – you had to guess with who is going to be the hot hand that night. You didn't have that consistent guy. I think you're going to have Scottie Pippen Jr. you can count on, backup point guard. He may be the first guy off the bench. If not, it's Ty Jerome, backup point guard, combo guard. He will be, if not the first guy off the bench, the second guy off the bench, and your best player off the bench. And you're not going to have to worry about who's got it tonight.
That's it. And Ty can be what we had hoped Luke Kennard was going to be for that second unit. He can be a guy who can handle the ball while still getting shots up, because Luke was very much like tunnel vision. If he was the backup, he was in the game as the backup point guard, he only dribbled and passed. If he was in as the two guard, he only got cardio in. And he can be the combo guard, as Jared's saying here in the comments, that we thought Luke Kennard was going to be, because Luke was great as the backup point guard, but he would quit shooting altogether. And that's to be fair, he quit shooting altogether all year. Shout out to Atlanta. Glad he's your problem now, not ours. But Ty Jerome can be that combo guard that can be a facilitator and still get you buckets.
Right. I'm in complete agreement. I think that we've got a good floor that we're working with. There are questions that need to be answered, but you feel more comfortable with rotations. You're deeper. Although I hope we don't play as many people as we played last year. We have the opportunity to weather some injuries, but I hope that Thomas has a 9 to 10 man rotation instead of 11-12.
I don't have to listen to people like you and Daniel Greer and nerds trying to tell me that it's a good thing that we're playing 14, 15 people every night.
I never said it was good. I just said that you didn't really have an option. I never wanted to play that many players. I defended Jake LaRavia, but
I feel like I'm living in like a Twilight Zone here.
Again, you if you took half the things that I said and wrote it down, you would change your opinion on me because your memory just skews it like 10% worse than what I said.
Tapes.
Yeah, please do. But I was always it was a function of injuries.
I'm glad it's not
where
just,
I always.
I'm glad it's not
Jared, you weren't even here last year. I don't even know you. This dude flips teams every time he puts on a shirt. You think you're going to take his word?
Me.
So I didn't like that. I defended the players because they were playing in spots that they were not supposed to be playing in because of injuries. So, anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about football.
Anyways, last thing I'll say, the Memphis Grizzlies are setting up shop in Nashville this week for training camp. And I did want to mention this about the one other bit of tasty news that came out yesterday of NBA training camp was Giannis missed yesterday due to COVID, and his GM
that still exists.
Apparently, it's still a thing in here in the year of our Lord 2025. He missed yesterday due to COVID. His GM said that he and Giannis had a conversation over the summer where Giannis said, "I am locked in on Milwaukee, and I'm dead set to be here." Only for Giannis to release a statement that said, "I do not remember that conversation." So I'm curious how that relationship is going to evolve over the course of the next year.
It's going to crash and burn. And I'm not so sure it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on Giannis' side on this one.
Yeah. I mean, agreed. Yeah. It's the antithesis of then you got Miles Turner, who's his new teammate, saying that I'm glad to finally be at a place that respects me and loves me. Only because I follow Alex Golden and Setting the Pace pod. I had a lot of Pacers just melting down yesterday about all the things that the city did for him and the DPOI candidacy that they ran for him. Only for then him to say, "I'm finally somewhere where I'm appreciated." Just it feels like a bad breakup where it's like two sides are pointing fingers. It's a Spider-Man.
Yeah,
meme, right?
that is
they're all pointing at each other.
that is directed at the front office, not at the city of Indianapolis or the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. He was always on the trading block.
Love.
He read too many headlines.
Mhm.
That was not a shot at Indiana or Indianapolis, in my opinion.
Agreed. But you know how, again, fan, like we said yesterday, fan is short for one thing, and that is fanatic. And the fans took it that way. But yes, we've got plenty of basketball content coming up. The Grizzlies are starting training camp. We will update on that as the week goes on. But let's talk our bread and butter. It was a wild weekend of college football.
That's right. Big college football weekend, moving weekend, which ended with my Rebels surging up to number 4 in the polls, Alabama beating Georgia, Penn State getting beat in another whiteout big game at home to a top 10 team, Florida State getting beat on the road in Virginia. I don't know that the receiver that did not catch the pass for Florida State is alive. He got trampled. That's Squirrel White from Tennessee.
Yeah, let's start there.
Huh.
So FanDuel odds, we picked against the FanDuel odds last week. Update you how the $2 fared. Shout out to FanDuel for giving us all these great odds that we pick every single Friday. Make sure y'all tune in on Fridays for our FanDuel Football Friday picks. On this past weekend, Drew and I both went 5-2 against the FanDuel spread. I picked 2 teams to win outright on the money line. I picked Mississippi State to win on the money line, and I did not get that one, so I'm not giving myself credit. The only other one I missed was Texas A&M to cover against Auburn. Drew got all of them right except for Georgia and Tennessee covering. Neither one of those happened, but we both went 5-2. I am now 16-14 on this young season, and Drew is 13-17. So, Drew, let's start there. Virginia, I was unaware. I'm like Shaq. Like
I was
Virginia,
too.
I was unaware of your game. They came in with the 4th overall total offense in the country, and they went toe-to-toe with a good, well, we think it's a good Florida State team. They beat Alabama and hadn't really been tested. They went on the road, and I said on our show on Friday, I said, this is an interesting game. I said it's a hard place to go play in Chancellorsville. You corrected me that it's Charlottesville. I was all over the place with my Civil War references there. I kind of had an inkling, but I didn't call it. But Virginia upsetting Florida State was a massive win for that program on Friday night.
Yeah, I was unaware. I thought that a 7-point spread for Florida State on the road in Charlottesville was an insult to all of Seminole Nation. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's wild. And so Florida State has a chance to right the wrongs as Miami comes to town this weekend. College Game Day probably could have went there, but instead they're going to Alabama and Vanderbilt in Tuscaloosa for that big clash. But speaking of, we saw USC get beat in Illinois in a bounce-back game. Auburn and A&M went toe-to-toe. It feels like you've got your best effort from Jackson Arnold, and it's just kind of like not enough to get cruising altitude, and it's just not. It ain't enough there, Auburn.
Auburn sucks. There was no reason for that game to be close at all, and it makes me think A&M may suck. That's how bad Auburn was in that game. I have no desire to watch either of these teams the rest of the year.
I'm telling you now, a tasty line ahead of I'm getting ahead of it already. I've already taken Mississippi State to cover and the over. Mississippi State travels to College Station this weekend as a 12.5-point road dog. After the effort we gave against Tennessee, I'm taking Mississippi State 12.5. But yes, James Franklin is now like 1-16 against top 10 AP opponents. They're now 4-21 in their last 25 against top 20. And they had an opportunity where they had all the experience and all the things in their favor to where they could be like the main one, right? The team. But they had a young, inexperienced Oregon team, much like Texas Tech, that's been built through the transfer portal, come in and beat them on their home field. Drew, the final score, yes, it was an overtime thriller. Yes, it ended up, like, on paper, it was a great game. But if you go back and watch that game, you look at the stats, Oregon just beat them all over the field. Penn State was just able to kind of keep it close, mostly due to Oregon's inexperience, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I call this, and I kind of put myself in a hater camp when it comes to Penn State, and so I take what I say with a grain of salt, but I was 100% right. Once again, it doesn't take that much effort to call these games. The stats are all there. I've watched Drew Aller more than I've watched any Big Ten quarterback in the last 3 years. Somehow he is the only returning starter in his 3rd or 4th year at Penn State who is the exact same player he was the very first year he was at Penn State. The best quarterback that Penn State has had in the last 3 years is playing quarterback for Missouri.
I mean,
Bo
that's it.
Preble was so much better. James Franklin is going to have to either leave or change his methodology because you've become like the only equivalent I could think of is giving Penn State too much credit, but are the 90s Buffalo Bills. Like, oh, you get there, congratulations, you're going to lose. And it's not that close. You know, you have all of your returning guys. You have all this momentum. You've got a wideout. And Drew Aller just throws an easy pick where he doesn't see a defender drop into coverage in overtime. It was just the most lackluster ending for Penn State and so completely on par. Ole Miss's best receiver is a Penn State transfer this year. He left Penn State because Drew Aller sucks and they don't get the ball to the receivers. I mean, it's not that hard.
I mean, that's it. I mean, had the most pedestrian 14 of 25, 137 yard night. Supposed to be this like the leader. I do believe he's at least a junior, if not a senior. Supposed to be the leader, and still just like not enough to get over the hump here. And what's annoying, Drew, is like this is what's going to happen. They're going to lose to Oregon. They're going to beat the brakes off UCLA, Northwestern, Iowa. They're going to lose to Ohio State. They might beat Indiana. And then they're still going to try and convince me at the end of the year that this is a playoff team that deserves to go compete for a national championship when we know what's going to happen. We've seen this song and dance. You put them against Alabama or Ole Miss in a playoff game, and they're going to get lapped. They're going to, because of their schedule, the nature of their schedule, they're going to be untested outside of 2 games. I'm still don't know about Indiana. I still think Indiana might be fake tough as well. But at the end of the year, they're going to be 10-2 or 9-3 and in the conversation for an at-large bid with the most vanilla quarterback in the country in Drew Aller. I don't buy it.
They went and got Ohio State's defensive coordinator in the offseason. You thought, like, oh, this is what we need. Like, defense was never the problem. Like, they're just in their makeup as a university and as a football team is just not good enough. I think at this point it's been going on. They've been really good for a long time. If you're happy with the outcome, then you keep James Franklin. But if you desire a national champion, you're going to have to part ways with James Franklin. It's just not in his makeup. I believe it.
On the other side of that coin, Dan Lanning is one of the most intense head coaches in the country. I would do anything. Like, I would love for him to coach my team. Like, he's an easy guy to root for, super intense, believes in his guys. They bought in with a transfer quarterback, sophomore on his first major road start to go to Penn State and get a win. Not that it's like a hostile, intimidating environment, but it's still a good road win for Oregon to travel that far in a primetime game with a young quarterback and get a win. We brushed over this earlier. Jared's asking for the FanDuel spread on the bye week versus Notre Dame. That's a good question. RIP to Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is an easy guy. Not that he died, but his coaching career. He's an easy guy to root for. I always kind of had a soft spot for Sam Pittman. It was made worse by the SEC documentary on Netflix because he just seems like a salt of the earth kind of guy you'd want to go sit down and have a Busch Light with at your local watering hole and have the greasiest hamburger, and you could talk football and it'd be fun. He will land on his feet somewhere. He's an elite offensive line coach. Like somewhere he'll end up at Georgia or somewhere and be an elite O-line coach. But I'm curious who this hire is going to be. Is it going to be a group of 5 coach? Maybe it's Summerall's chance. Maybe it's Ryan Silverfield's chance. Maybe it's Rhett Lashey's chance from SMU. But we all know who this is going to be. The circle is complete, and it is going to be Bobby Petrino. How about that?
It's the Bobby Petrino return to action here.
Absolutely.
I saw LSU fans clamoring to back up the Brinks truck to bring Sam Pittman to LSU. This is the Bobby Petrino show.
100%, man. 100%. And speaking of show, Drew, you got your kicks off on the Daily Grind this morning. For 10 minutes, we had a list about Ole Miss. Give me like your 1,000-foot view here. What does this mean going forward for Ole Miss? And I even paid him a compliment this morning. But what are your thoughts on Ole Miss handling LSU?
One, it's always fun to just beat the piss out of LSU. They're entitled, they're loud, they're obnoxious. When they come to Oxford, they make a scene. They make Ole Miss fans look like church-going people, and I love sending them home sad. Just nothing better. Importantly for Ole Miss is you go into a bye undefeated, 5-0, number 4 in the country, and you start looking at your schedule, and I think this is still a race to 10 wins. to get into the playoffs. Ole Miss finished 9-3. South Carolina finished 9-3. Alabama finished 9-3. Those were the 3 teams that felt like they were on the outside looking in at the playoffs last year. You got to get to 10 wins. Ole Miss goes to Athens. They will be an underdog. They go to Oklahoma. If John Mateer's back, they will probably be underdogs. If not, they'll probably be favored. The rest of your schedule, you will be favored in all of them. So you've got to avoid landmines. You cannot lose to Florida at home. You cannot lose to South Carolina at home. And you cannot lose to Mississippi State on the road unless you get a game in which you're an underdog. You go to Georgia and win, congratulations. We talked about going into the season having a mulligan. You get a mulligan if you go beat Georgia or Oklahoma on the road. However, well, you look at this SEC, Ole Miss is probably due a loss because I don't think that I think gone are the days where you have a lot of undefeated teams. Almost everybody's going to have one loss at the end of this at some point. There's just not enough depth along the landscape, and every single team doesn't have depth anymore. And so Ole Miss is probably due a loss, but you're going to have to make it. You've got to minimize, and so
you just can't let it be South Carolina or Florida or Mississippi State, like you said. Like if you're going to have a loss, your mulligan is a competitive game with Georgia, a competitive game at Norman. But like your mulligans, the days of mulligans are going to be tough because there's going to be a very crowded landscape, especially in the SEC.
And you're also looking at teams like LSU. I hope they right the ship, and I hope they go 11-1.
You hope that's
I would love to see Bobby Petrino light a fire under Arkansas and them upset somebody and somehow back their way into like a 5-7, 6-6 bowl game there. And same with South Carolina and Kentucky. You want to see the schedule look better because the schedule is not great. Your 2 best teams or your 3 best teams you're playing this year, 2 of them are on the road. You've already beat LSU at home.
I mean, that's it.
So,
But with LSU, though, that team could also end the season at 7-5 with losses to Vanderbilt, A&M, Alabama, and/or Oklahoma. Arkansas feels like a great loss there for them, but a good win for Arkansas, bad loss for LSU. That would be rough. But Bobby Petrino, anytime there was a coach that's fired, you get a injected energy. Oklahoma State almost won the other night, which prompted their interim head coach, and I'll be brief about this for our transition to Mississippi State, to come out and say he went for his first 4th down. First time they had a 4th down, he went for it. And he said, I forgot I was making that decision. Normally you're over there saying, hey, let's go for it. What are we, soft? And then I went, oh, that's on me to make this call.
Yeah.
So shout out to that.
Speaking of, Ole Miss had that 4th down in which they were up by 4 and could have kicked a 50-yard field goal. And Lane got on the headset and radioed over to Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, superstar defensive coordinator. And Lane said, hey, Pete, I think that I'm going to go for this. Do you object? And he said, do it. Go for it. And Ole Miss went for it, got it, and was able to milk out the last 5.5 minutes of a college football game without ever giving LSU the ball back.
Impressive.
Beautiful.
It was an impressive win. It really was. And transition, it was an impressive loss for Mississippi State. And I hate moral victories. I told you that when we talked on Sunday. We're a program on the rebuild, on the rise. So moral victories are going to happen, even though I hate them desperately. But it was a moral victory in the loss to Tennessee. You were competitive with a top 15 team. Joey Aguilar is a good SEC quarterback, been a lot better than I thought he was going to be. You ran the ball effectively against one of the better run defenses in the country. You had a lot of success with Fluff Bothwell with 134 yards, most of them in the A-gap against Tennessee. A couple of blunders here and there. You give up 2 defensive touchdowns, a scoop, a score, a pick 6, and that's the difference in the game. You take care of the football, you win that game by 2 touchdowns. That's math. You win it by a touchdown. That's math right there. You don't go to overtime. You get a massive win at home. But what I saw was Jeff Levy evolving. Now, the final couple of drives and the overtime plays, why are we going away from the run when that's what got us there? And Blake Shapen.
Oh, it's because they started putting 8 people in the box, right?
I mean, it's fair, but we were still having success against their fronts. And so Blake Shapen, I have some concerns. He had some great games. He finished with 180 yards, that critical interception, and just couldn't quite get the right play. He, for the first time, didn't look like he had full command of the offense. But I'm not ready to give it over to Kamario Taylor yet. I do think he's the future, but I'm not in that vocal part of the fan base that's ready to replace Blake Shapen. That's coming, but not yet. You have to capitalize on this, though. You're going to Texas A&M. You're a 12.5-point road dog on FanDuel.com for this weekend, but you can't let this game beat you twice. The road team typically has the advantage here. I'm not saying that like it's a guaranteed win, but Texas A&M, I don't think they're a perfect football team that is incapable of a surprise upset at home. I was impressed with what I saw from the defense. Defense played really well. You gave up 335 through the air to Joey Aguilar. Yes, but a lot of that was because we didn't have pressure. You had 2 big interceptions. They were off some tips here and there. The secondary played well. We've got to figure out how to get pressure on the quarterback. Will Whitston is tied for the lead with sacks. He has not played since week 1 because he had that season-ending injury. And so we've got to get pressure on the quarterback. But I saw a team that's growing up. I saw a team that's evolving and coming around to be a good SEC team. We're no longer that game that's everybody's, oh, that's an automatic win. You're going to have to buckle up and play Mississippi State. And for that, I'm thankful for even in a loss.
I would absolutely go to Kamario Taylor. I don't really know what you owe Shapen at this point. And you've got the landscape of the league, though, is that you have to play these guys you want to keep. And Mississippi State, I don't know if they're willing to pony up $2 million or $1.5 million. If you only because I'll for the first time I've heard people talk about Kamario Taylor. You know, he's from Newton County High School here in Mississippi, Noxubee County. Sorry, and I've heard people talk about it, and I just kind of write them off like, oh, that's Mississippi State fans rooting for their own guys. You know, probably outsized importance that they have on them versus other outsiders. I saw some tape. I finally looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I think I just play that guy. Like, I don't know what we're talking about here. Like, Mississippi State, the best, most Pollyanna Mississippi State fan is not saying that Mississippi State has a chance to win 8 games this year. Mm-hmm. So, what is the goal? What is the goal? The goal is to be successful for the long term. That's the guy. That's the guy.
What I'm saying, I do think Kamario Taylor's invested. I don't think we're apples to apples here, but we rolled out Michael Van Buren last year after Shapen got hurt.
Not the same guy.
Transferred to LSU. Kamario Taylor is different. What I want to see against A&M, I don't love that the A&M game would be, and I guess that's more my point. I don't love a road game at Texas A&M being your first career start as a freshman.
Fair, yeah.
But let's start with a little bit more Kamario Taylor. Right now, he's used like Chambliss was earlier, like Austin Simmons has been used now. You run out, he's obviously running the ball. It's like a running package. So maybe against A&M, you throw in a few wrinkles where he throws the ball. I think if you're going to do it, you got a bye week after A&M before you go to Florida. That's the game that you can pull the trigger and make it happen. I'm saying I'm not ready right now to make the switch, but let's make a gradual progression in A&M. You got Florida, and then you get Texas at home. So maybe you test it a bit more in the Florida game in a more winnable, less hostile environment, because I do think Kamario Taylor is the truth and the future for Mississippi State football for sure.
All right, so if you don't start him this week at College Station, you've got to bye. Then you go to Gainesville, or you have Texas coming home.
That's what I said. The Gainesville game is the game you target because that's Florida. I'm not overly
you just gotta
Florida. You go that's the game.
You cannot let that kid feel slighted by playing a worse quarterback than him. That is the thesis in which that I'm operating on, still standing in the Austin Simmons camp, I think, is if Ole Miss truly has a shot to win it all with Chambliss, you do it. Okay, you go with Chambliss. But if you have any reservations and you have to think about next year at all, you have to appease Austin Simmons because he is your future for at least 2 more years.
That's Kamario Taylor. He's a true freshman. Like, he is the future for at least the next 2 or 3 years. I'm just saying, let's don't throw him in the deep end. Let's ease him into the deep end against A&M and then turn him loose against Florida, because I'm telling you, that kid is an uber athlete with a big old arm.
I'm just in the camp of let the kid get some playing time, let him feel good about himself, and let him suck, get it out of the way, and come in like Lenore Sellers did last year with some hype, I want to ask you this. I saw this going around on the internet a lot, and I know you have to you got to think about who's posting it and camera angles and stuff like that. Saw several pictures yesterday of what looked like half of the Davis Wade Stadium in orange. And I know that orange sticks out like a sore thumb. Is there an attendance issue?
No, what it is, it's a faculty issue. So where a lot of the orange ended up is in the faculty section, where the faculty gets their really cheap tickets and then they sell them for, and again, get your bag, sell your tickets. They sold a lot of tickets to the Tennessee fans, so it kind of bled over because it's right next to the visitor.
That's bad fans.
Over into it. That's what I'm saying. The faculty is, and that's been what's been talked about a lot on X and what's been going around in Mississippi State circles, is the faculty sold a lot of their tickets. No, it was one half of the stadium. It was, if you look at one half of the stadium, there was quite a bit of orange on that side. Tennessee travels well. There was some up at the top.
Yeah.
It was a lot of orange. It was still a Mississippi State majority fan. But yes, a lot of onus is on the faculty for selling their tickets to Tennessee fans, and it made it look worse than what it was.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's Tuesday edition of the $2 Sports Show. We hit all the bases here. We talked food, we talked basketball, and we talked college football. Tomorrow we've got our
Real versus
real or counterfeit. Yep. And we got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Plenty of stuff to talk about with NBA training camp. We got college football previews coming up. We got plenty that we can dissect on. Y'all come back live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central right here on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. Easy for me to say. Give us a thumbs up if you're here at the 51-minute mark. We appreciate y'all hanging out. Thanks for being in the comments, having those popping off as usual. We appreciate it. In the meantime, go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Have a good Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.